Today we're going to look at some of the features of Pic Collage Edu. So to start with, we're going to look at grids, which is one of the most common ways of starting and making a Pic Collage. So when I tap that, the first thing it's going to do is go to my photo gallery and allow me to select some pictures to add to this. So a reminder that you should have your selfie and you should have at least 4 other pictures of things that you like. In the upper right hand corner, it's going to tell me how many pictures I have, and I'm just going to tap that when I'm ready. Down on the bottom here, first of all, if I go to size right here, I want to make sure that this is a full screen. Right, so if I change some grids, I might want to come back here and check to make sure it's full screen. Now on grid, I can choose any one of these I like, but what I may want to do is make sure that I have chosen the kind of grid that fits my picture. So if I have more portrait or landscape kind of pictures, I want to make sure that that works for what I have. Also, you can change the background here, which I'm going to talk a little bit more in just a few minutes. So if I like this, I'm going to choose the check mark and accept that. A couple of things that you can do here. So if you don't like where a particular picture is located, you can drag that picture and move it into a different spot, and those will trade places on there. Also, if a picture maybe is too big, I can pinch it, make it a little bit smaller. I can also rotate it if I need to. So you have some freedom with a grid style. In addition, on here in the lower left-hand corner, I have the plus sign. If I use that plus sign, I can add text. And when I choose the text off of here, just to quickly note, the T is the font. The first kind of drop here that you see is the font color, and the next one is the background of the font color. So in your Pic Collage, I'm going to ask that you add your name, and you can add that. And once you put it in, you can move it around wherever you want to. I'm going to go from here and I'm going to switch gears. Okay, another way that you can make a collage is the freestyle method. It's going to tap that freestyle method, and the first thing it's going to do is tap anywhere to add a photo. So just like before, I'm going to go to my photos and I'm going to go and find some of my pictures for this particular example. Once again, when I'm done, I'm going to tap the green check mark. Now what's different in here is you have a lot more freedom as to where your pictures, where they're at, the direction, all those kinds of things. I can take any picture, I can move it around on my page, I can make it bigger or smaller, I can rotate it whatever I want, and you certainly have freedom to move things around on these particular kinds of freestyle. That's why it's called that. Now if I tap on the background part of it here, if I tap on the plus sign, I had mentioned before that I'm going to talk about backgrounds, which is right down here. So I'm going to choose backgrounds. And I just want you to know that when you choose a background, it should not distract from your pictures. You want to highlight those. So for example, if I chose a background that's black, it's going to really push those pictures out and it's going to be great. However, if I chose something maybe like that, when I look at that, it's going to look just like the background and the pictures kind of blend in that. So be careful when you're choosing a background that you choose something that works for your pictures that you have. Again, you can choose the check mark when you're done with that. Now, I want to spend just a couple of minutes about looking at pictures that you have here. So first of all, I'm going to double tap on this center picture, and then these are different effects that I can do and changes I can make to the picture. So I'm going to choose the gold effects button that we have on here. And the first thing that you're going to see across the bottom when I choose effects, there are different color schemes across the bottom, and so as I choose those, that's going to change slightly the way the picture looks on that particular part of it. I'm going to cancel out of each one so that kind of goes back to the original picture and you can see what that looks like. The next effect is called an overlay, and what that does is kind of put something around it. So this has a black frame, and then I can move the picture within that black frame so that I could see that a little better. Again, those are different kinds of overlays that you might find. The next one is a frame. If I wanted a frame around my picture, I could do that, and that could add to my picture as well. The next one is the color adjusting. So maybe a color is a little too dark or something like that. You can adjust that part of it. The next one is called splash. And what that does is it takes a black and white picture and then you can choose something about it and make it colored. So for example, if I just wanted that little bit of this picture to be colored, I could do that. You've probably seen these before. Sometimes they'll take a black and white picture of a person and then they color in their blue eyes, or a black and white picture and the flower itself is colored. So those are just some things you can do with the splash part of it. Orientation, I kind of skipped over there. Orientation is just a way that you can flip a picture if you want to. So For example, I'm going to go back up here to my Lincoln picture, and if you see Lincoln is looking off the page, and really that's not recommended. You want to lead your reader onto the page. So I'm going to double tap on that and choose my effects, and I'm going to choose my orientation, and I'm actually going to flip him around so that he's looking onto the page, and then that's going to make my collage look a little bit better. Again, back into my effects, and I can crop a picture if I want to, so maybe I want a little less of this background in here. I can certainly do that. I can draw on a picture if I needed to. I can blur a picture, so basically what that means is that I can take certain parts and kind of blur it out if I wanted to, like if I were trying to hide somebody's face. And I can focus. But that means it'll take one part of the picture and make it more focused. And then if you look around the outsides of this picture, you're going to see it's a little bit more blurry. Enhance just means that if the kind of picture that you're taking, it will adjust this. So if I'm doing a scenery picture or a food picture, it's going to adjust the lighting a little bit for that part of it. The last two on here, the whiten and blemish. The whiten has to do with like a teeth whitening. So if you have on your selfie and you want to try to whiten up your teeth a little bit, you can do that. And the blemish might be if there's a little dot, you can kind of go over that. And that sometimes works well and sometimes doesn't, so you can kind of play around with that a little bit. So that's the effects. All right, now I'm going to go up to double tap on a picture again, and this time I'm going to choose cutout. And with cutout, the very first one you see on here is scissors. And scissors just allows you to go around a picture and cut out the pieces that you want. So mine's pretty quick here, not necessarily perfect, but when I click on the check mark, then I have this little picture of my Lincoln on here. So I'm going to go back to my photos, and I'm going to find my Lincoln picture again and put that in here. And just to kind of show you how that works. So if you remember, I flipped him around, so I've got to flip him around again to get that to work. I'm going to put this head on top of it, and then what I'm going to do is make it bigger, like a fat head. So that's kind of a fun way to use a cutout. So that's one of the ways you can use a cutout. Now there are several different kinds of cutouts, so if you look across the bottom, there are lots and lots of different shapes. And if you keep going all the way across, there's even a fun thing like a heart. So you can do that, and you can make that on your collage as well. In addition, on here I can duplicate pictures, so if I needed more than one. For example, I could have duplicated Lincoln to begin with before I cut one of those out. I can change the order of the pictures if I want to make something front or back. I can set a picture as a background. As we saw before, we can do borders, and obviously then you can remove pictures as well. Going back down to the bottom, I want to remind you there are stickers, but I'm going to ask that you limit to one sticker. You do want to use the text to add your name. And if you would like to, you can also go and add some doodling on here, some writing on here. And if I do that, for example, sometimes people use that to kind of connect pictures from one to the next. So it just adds a little extra into their pictures to kind of make it a little more fun or connected in some way. So that's how you can do your collage and use the different tools in your collage. Now I'm going to pretend like I'm done with this. This is obviously far from done, but I'm going to pretend like I'm done. I'm going to hit that. Very important here to do save to library. So you're going to touch the save to library, and that's going to go to your photos, right? Now, how do you get this to me since it's saved in your photos? What you're going to do is go back to your Google Classroom. Now, this is not the correct assignment, but when you have the correct assignment, you're going to go to Add Attachment, and then you're going to do Pick a Photo. And then from your Pick a Photo, you're going to choose or find your collage that you had, and that's going to upload it in there as an image, and then you're simply going to push the Turn In button.